Junior and I just got back from a trip to the lake and absolutely love the modifications I've done to this ski. Between the 44 millimeter carburetor and drying out the exhaust, it is a much faster, more responsive ski. And Junior is usually pretty skeptical about my performance modifications, but I let him ride it. The first time he thumped the throttle pretty hard at mid-range, I was sitting there in the water watching him, he's like, whoa! So yeah, it pulls much better. Now, this is the second time since we've done the modifications I've taken it out. First time was not as good. I was like, I may have wasted my time on this, but it just, the carb wasn't tuned. First time we took it out, I left it pretty much the way it was, except for dropping the pop-off pressure. Now, I took it, it was like 35 pounds plus. It was more than what my gauge would read. And I dropped it down to 25 because we're going to be running the flame arrestor. Well, it had the low speed screw out like over 2 turns, and that was a lot. That was too much. I went and rode it, and low end was crap. Up to about a quarter throttle, it was just blubbering, way too much fuel. Turned the needle down on the low speed, got it to idle a little better, but it still wasn't very good. So I went too far on the pop-off. Top end was good. It seemed like it was wanting all the fuel it could get. It had a 135 main jet, the way I got the carburetor. And so I messed around with the high-speed needle because they had it out like 2 turns. And I moved it a little bit. It definitely seemed like it wanted more fuel. So when we brought it home the other day, I took the carb back off, redid it, set the pop off now at 30 pounds, turned the low-speed screw to 1 turn out, which is about where it should be, if everything else is right. Low-speed jet is a 115, and I found in my pile of jets, I found a 142.5 high-speed jet, and I put that in there. And I never tweaked it again today. The only thing we did was fired it up on the trailer, and I set the idle speed. And other than that, I rode it till it ran out of gas. It just pulls hard. Idle was great. Didn't even have to touch the low-speed screw. It idled. It would start up good after it had been setting. You know, you could idle through the no wake zone, hit the throttle, and just bam, took off. You could idle in that quarter throttle zone where it was loading up before, hit the throttle, bam, it was gone. So everything worked really good as far as the carburetor. The only thing I may do on the carburetor, since it still seems to like plenty of fuel top end, I'm going to go ahead and go to a 150 main jet. As soon as I can get one of those ordered in. Probably doesn't need it. It's working good the way it is now, but if it ends up being too much, I can back that high-speed screw off. I've got it at 1.5 turns right now. So if 150 is a little too much, I can back the needle down, but it is great. I also run a bypass hose for the water going to the water box, and I'll show you that. Here's the hose I added. I just teed into the one that goes down to the stinger, ran it around to the fitting on the bulkhead back there that used to have the drain line coming off the back of the pipe. So we're running some bypass water here. I stopped, felt the couplers, everything is still fine. So there's probably more room to pull extra water out, because what I did is I restricted the flow in this line because I didn't want to run too much water through it. And I'll show you how I did that. What I put in the line is a needle and seat assembly out of a Mikuni. Well, here's the seat. Now, this is a 1.5. So this is the hose back at the firewall, or the hose back at the bulkhead. The pipe is about 3/8 inch hose. So I stuck one of these in the hose, and then I reduced the hose down to 1/4 inch hose, run that back up to that T-fitting. But that restricted the water flow. There's still definitely water flowing out this. You can watch it flowing through the tube. And I can always enlarge this if I want to restrict it further. But if you've got one of these laying around that fits in the hose, is perfect. Well, that's about it. I'm very excited. Had an absolute blast today. Asked Junior if he wanted me to make any modification to his, and he's like, oh yeah, I want all that. So we'll be doing the same thing to his ski. Hopefully I have the same results. I did manage to get some good, it's decent on the water video. So that's coming up next. Keep watching for that. There's a couple of minutes worth of that. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. See you on the next one.
Well, so far, so good. From you just slightly. Well, I was too. That was what was slowing me down at the beginning, as I was slamming into crap. You can go ahead and ride. I'm just going to turn the idle up just a touch. Now that water coming out of the exhaust is kind of hard on my side. Whoa, God! The pisser water is even worse! I don't think I've ever seen a super chicken over here. That's sweet. Yeah.
I think I met your sister. You had that storage unit door open one day. You know, like, there's two extra shoes in there. Right on 54?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met your sister. She's like, yeah, my brother and they go to Stockton every Saturday.
That'd be my daughter.
Was it your daughter?
Yeah.
Okay. This is fantastic.
Yeah. So you've got the SXR 800? Oh, sweet. We have been talking about getting either a round nose or something. Yeah.
I had a 1600. It was fun. All it was just was paint.
Yeah.
I mean, no 70s. You know, I could play on.
Yeah.
Don't play. You could do it on it.
Yep. You too. Ha ha!